What's up, fam? It's all clouded here, and this has to be hands down probably one of the best weeks that I've had. I just felt like I've been getting back-to-back dubs in key areas that I was really working on. Some of them surprised me as I was chasing after other things. So where have we got to? Look at this. 9,500 waves on T10. That's up from around 8,500 waves. So we jumped up almost 1,000 waves, or practically 1,000 waves in the course of a week. So we'll look at some milestones. So tier 12, I went for that. Look at what I got. 64 waves off. 64 waves off. So the way I see that is we'll be getting that next week. So I'm super stoked with that. I tried for the tier 15. Still struggling with that. Some people have been able to cheese it. The thing with cheesing the waves in that, there's a bit of a tactic to it, but at the same time, there's also a hell of a lot of RNG if you're relying on death penalty and wave skip. So yeah, we'll get to that at some stage, but this T12, that's ours, man. We're going to get that. So let's look at some stats. I've also got something else that we can look at too. So stats. So we went up 1 trill this week. Oh, 1 trill? Let's do that again, eh? We went up 100 trillion this week. So last week we were at 360, so we almost took a third of our earnings just in the week, and there was a few notable things that helped us get there, and I'll show you it. We also broke, where are we? We also broke 11,000 stones. Always call them gems, the stones. And here's our labs, 1.15k. So labs are still humming. So this is what an overview, but I'll show you guys another one. Here's an overview of the runs that we're doing. So we got 9.5k on tier 10, and we also got 7.5k. So around that 9.5k mark, we're really looking at 12 plus hours, maybe 12.5 hours, all the way up to 13. Man, this thing can just go forever. So the tier 10s, as far as surviving them, it's all you can eat. The tier 11s, we can be anywhere from 10.5 hours to 11. We can get to 11 hours on that one. So the main focus, there's going to be a bit of rambling in this episode. So the main focus that we're trying to do is we're putting a heavy push on tier 11. The reason why we're putting a heavy push on tier 11 is because we are driving EHP up. So we'll add in regen. Regen's apart, or I put it in the same category. So through EHP and regen together, we're pushing tier 11 super hard. And the reason why is because EHP is cheap, and it's still a extremely viable option when it comes to tier 11. Once you start getting into tier 12, you're gonna start seeing the limited return on investment. It's not so cheap. The mobs start dealing a hell of a lot of damage in that. So if we go back to the runs, shout out to Austin Tech. Let's have a look. So I saw this in his video through the Discord. I think so. If you're interested in something like this, which is super user friendly, if you currently don't have a computer, or you just want something, again, where you don't have to really push much buttons. In his latest video, which should still be his latest video, he shares this. So we'll have a look at this. So there's a bunch of random runs. So over here, you can see the waves, you can see the total coins, you can see the total cells earned. If we go over here, here's where our coin per hour is looking. Here's where our cell per hour is looking. And over here, this is an average per tier. So this just averages all the data that you're sending through, and it gives you a rough track. And down here, there is a maximum. So basically, it's going to take the max out of everything that you've earned and compile it all together. So, I wouldn't really use that tab, but this one's quite interesting watching this grow. So I'm bouncing in between the 10 and 11. It all just depends on schedules. My schedule got mucked up yesterday. So instead of going a tier 11 and then a tier 10 overnight, or a tier 10 during the day if I'm busy, and a tier 11 overnight, I'll end up doing 3 tier 11s to get back the time that I lost, so it's back on schedule. So currently the way that it sits, you know, the timing kind of works with that sort of those types of runs. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get my tier 11 to the maybe, what's going on here? Hold on. We're trying to get tier 11 to around the 11.5 hour run /12, and then we can just run it consistently. So the reason why we want tier 11 is because obviously there's a higher multiplier on coins, higher potential multiplier on the cells. So why wouldn't we? And we're pretty much, once we're in tier 11, we're probably going to be stuck there for a very long time. It's still a perfectly fine tier to be farming. There's nothing really wrong with it. So we jump back in here. So where are we going with this? Well, I suppose we'll just go around the clock. So tournaments, what did I get in this last one? I ended up getting 6th. So if we look at this, almost 1200, almost 1300 waves. So this one here was ranged. Forgot to set to bloody do my range. Got smoked and then couldn't be bothered doing another run again. This one here I think was tanks. Tanks are generally, well, I feel like for the current status of my build, generally pretty easy to run. And then this one here was our latest one, which was fasts. And what really hurt me in the fast was not having perma black hole in the tournaments. So that's as far as tournaments are going. Event, we've just got this nuke. We've just got this nuke one to do. Really can't be bothered. Guild, smashed it. With over 1,000 points. Guardian, I see a lot of people are holding off. You know, they don't quite know where to put their bits in that. I don't think there's anything magical coming. I reckon if this is attack and this one's defense, or their version of defense, this one's coins, I reckon the next one is probably going to be cells. It'll be some sort of cell bonus. That's how I feel. Or it'll be something that buffs ultimate weapons. Just speculating. Don't know what it is. For these, we're already sold out on the bits. Sold out on this one, Econ. I'll probably do this one last. And I'll probably just buy these out first. Because 250 is huge. Probably not for you later, guys. And we already know this is pretty much completed. I think everybody's pretty much there. What do we got? 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks, and then we get a new Guardian. You know, maybe a little bit of an update. We don't know. Probably going to buff it. As far as workshops, this is where workshops at. So damage 5500, health 56, regen 56, wall health there. Skips, want to get this up to 300, but pricey. Health 240, enhancements. That's what enhancements looks like. Fairly even. Health, regen, wall. This one here, cells, coins, Could probably do with some free ups. It's getting super pricey with the coins in that. Cards. I managed to get that. Oh, where'd you go? I managed to get this. So now we get the 8, the 19. That's actually that extra, just that extra 2%. Squeeze out so much more for farms that I can't wait to get this up. That means that we could, potentially farm deeper into tier 10 runs, in time deeper into tier 11 runs. But fam, the star of this week is the next tab. We got some back-to-back dubs. So, here it comes. Wow! Bro, I got it. Bro. Do you know what's the funniest thing? I wasn't even trying. That's the best part. I knew in the back of my head that I only needed one more copy. But I was actually looking for a multiverse nexus. And it just so happened to be that I got this. Because I've only needed one multiverse nexus since I was a little girl. And then I got my last copy of this. But I was over the moon. I actually went and got my partner and my 2 kids and made them look at it, because that's how fucking happy I was that I got that. Reason why I'm so happy, if you know, everybody knows what the G comp is, but for those who, might be a little bit newer to the journey and, they might have or may not have copies of this, it's because you're pretty much going to be running Galaxy Compressor for a long time. For a long time. The next one up from the G comp is when people move to black hole digester farming, which, there's plenty of big dogs in the game that still aren't at black hole digester farming. So this is us. We are sorted. What else did we get? We got a mythic gun. Remember last week I was talking about I really wanted a mythic gun? Boom. Got him. And it's an AD. And then the other dub that we got on this tab is we got that 8% defense. Which, before getting that 8% defense, that's when I was getting that 8.6-ish K waves on, what is it? Tier 10? Boom, instantly, 9.5. Now, I'm actually just turning off my tier 10 runs because they're too long. That's how impactful getting that extra defense and capping out on the 98%. So impactful when you still rely on EHP quite a bit in your build. But yeah, man, the G comp, we got him. And I think I picked up another, like a few other things. Like I think we got this mythic and whatever. There was a little patch or update that come out, so you now can, when you shatter these, so you can go like this, blah blah blah. Shatter those. You can also shatter it when it's epic. I think you can even shatter it when it's epic plus, maybe. So keep that in mind. You want your modules to be continuously leveled up. The big push this week, I said before, was EHP. So we got regen, Warfort. This will probably be the last level of Warfort that I do. We've been doing Golden Bot. We got that at 15. And then I've got this one going, Spotlight. But I've only got 2 beams. So I don't even know why. So I'm going to swap that out after that window's finished. Also forgot, I was so excited to get to that tab, is we can go here. Wait, where are we going? Boom, here's the ultimate weapons. haven't been touched. But just to top off such a good week, we'll give it that, and we'll give it that. So now we are at 140-second sync. So I'm super interested in how that's going to help our runs. We might get who knows what we might win out of that. Oh, you know what we can do? We can pick up that, and we can pick up one of that. Empty. So with no mouse on the screen, might be hard to see. I picked up this, and I picked up this, and I got that, and I got that. Now the reason why I wanted these two is because I need perma black hole. So I'm gonna get 3 more clicks on this, take it to 30 seconds, and then if we go back to this tab on this, I'm gonna roll. So we'll take it to 30 seconds on the black hole, and then I'm gonna roll for a mythic roll on here for black hole duration and it gives you 3 seconds. So those extra seconds and that 3-second roll should take us to 33. Our Ryan NG recommended taking your black hole, or at this kind of level, take your black hole to 33 seconds and take you'll find to take your golden tower to 43 seconds. So that's what we're gonna do. And then I wasn't really focused on it, but now that we have the G comp, I feel like it's rude not to. Oh, it's rude not to try to go for black hole. So, and I don't even think it's much. I think even next tournament's winnings should be enough to... Oh no, I need 3 more seconds. So next tournament, next weekend, so by end of the week I'll have perma black hole. Yeah, like I said, such a good week. We were at labs. So history, what you're gonna see down the left hand side, there's a bit with golden bot, but it's just all health and regen. That's all what we pushed this week. It's just a heavy push that paired up with the 98% defense has been what's gonna get us. So if we're looking at tier 11 and we're looking at the 7,500 waves, I want to try to get it to 8k, and I'm hoping we can get it to 8k by the end of the week. But if we don't, we'll get it some stage. It's no real biggie. We'll get there. But yeah, man, that's been my week. I'm super interested in where we can get these coins. Like I think last week, if we go to these runs, this tier 10, having those extra, where are we? Having those, what was I getting? I think 7 trill. Being able to push those deeper waves and getting the G comp and whatever. We took it to, what's that? 9 trill. So up 2 trill. And then, yeah, again, we earned almost just shy of a third of our lifetime earnings last week. And yeah, it just come to being able to, a few episodes back I talked about squeezing out more fruit, squeezing out more juice out of your fruit, or going deeper to find a bigger fruit. That's basically where we've been. We've just been going searching for a bigger fruit. And I think we're just going to settle on tier 11, and we'll settle there for a while. So the idea is to get to that 12-hour-ish run. That means we're flexible and we can just perma tier 11. and we do it through pushing EHP. Try not to overinvest. That's kind of what's in the back of my mind, trying not to overinvest in EHP. And then from there, we just introduce damage, and then we just go ham on the damage and let damage free us from tier 11. Let the damage pull us into tier 12 and to tier 12 and beyond. So that's been the week, fam. Yeah, super interested in the little upgrade that we put in over here to see what our farms are looking at. But if you like what you see, you know the drill. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can tell when the next video is coming out. And as always, keep it cloudy, fam.